Hello and welcome. In this video we will learn about Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur, also known as Tupac, was one of the most famous rap artists in the world. He was more than just a rapper. He was a poet, actor, thinker, and a voice for many people. Tupac's music spoke about life, love, pain, and hope. He used his words to talk about real problems in society, like poverty, violence, and racism. Tupac was born on June 16, 1971, in New York City, USA. His mother, Afeni Shakur, was a strong woman who fought for justice. Tupac learned many things from her. Even as a child, he was smart and loved reading and writing. He studied acting, poetry, and dancing at a school for the arts. He had a dream to make a difference in the world. When he started making music, Tupac quickly became popular. His songs were powerful and full of emotion. He talked about his struggles and the struggles of others. People listened because they felt he was real. He was not afraid to speak the truth. His music gave strength to many young people, especially those who felt alone or misunderstood. Tupac was also an actor. He played roles in several films. He showed that he could do more than music. His talent and energy were clear on the big screen. Many fans loved him not only for his music but also for his acting skills. Even with his fame, Tupac had many problems. He faced legal troubles and was part of a big music rivalry. But he always stayed strong. He never stopped working. He kept writing songs and recording music. He believed in himself and in his message. He once said, "I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will." Tupac's life ended too soon. He died in 1996 at the age of 25. But his music did not die. People around the world still listen to his songs. His words still inspire many. He left behind a legacy that lives on. This audiobook will tell the story of Tupac's life, his beginnings, his rise to fame, his struggles, and his dreams. It will show how one man used his voice to stand up for what he believed in. Tupac Shakur's story is about hope, courage, and the power of words. For students learning English, this is a chance to learn about a true legend. You will hear about his journey in simple English. You will learn new words and ideas. But more than that, you will learn how one person can make a big difference. Tupac's story is not just for fans of rap. It is for anyone who wants to believe in themselves and do something great. Let's begin the journey of Tupac Shakur, a man who used his voice to change the world. Chapter 1. Early Life and Family Roots. Tupac Amaru Shakur was born on June 16, 1971, in New York City. His birth name was Lassane Parish Crooks, but his mother later changed it to Tupac Amaru Shakur. The name, Tupac Amaru, comes from a famous leader from Peru who fought for freedom. His mother gave him this name to inspire strength and courage. Tupac's mother was Afeni Shakur. She was a strong and brave woman. She was part of a group called the Black Panther Party. This group wanted equal rights for black people in America. Afeni taught Tupac to think deeply and care about justice. She raised him to speak up for what is right. Tupac never met his real father when he was young. His stepfather, Mutulu Shakur, also had a strong influence on him. Mutulu was also a member of the Black Panther Party. He went to prison when Tupac was a child. These early family experiences shaped Tupac's mind and heart. When Tupac was young, life was not easy. His family did not have much money. They moved many times and lived in different places, including Baltimore and later California. Tupac saw many problems in his neighborhood, like violence and drugs. But even in hard times, he stayed creative and hopeful. Tupac loved art from a young age. He liked writing poems, acting in plays, and dancing. When he lived in Baltimore, he went to the Baltimore School for the Arts. There, he learned about music, poetry, and theater. He was a talented student. His teachers saw that he had something special. At school, Tupac studied Shakespeare and read many books. He was not just interested in rap and hip-hop. He wanted to understand the world. He asked many questions and had big ideas. His classmates remember him as smart, funny, and full of energy. Tupac also saw pain around him. He saw how hard life was for many people in his community. He felt their pain and wanted to speak for them. He used his writing to share their stories. He believed that music and art could bring change. His mother always told him to read, learn, and stay strong. Afeni gave him love and wisdom. She helped him believe in himself. Even when they had no money, she made sure Tupac felt proud of who he was. Tupac's early life was full of lessons. He learned about history, struggle, and hope. He learned to use his voice to tell the truth. These roots helped him grow into the powerful artist he became. This chapter is the beginning of Tupac's journey. It shows how his family and childhood helped shape his path. From a little boy in New York to a future star, Tupac's story started with love, courage, and a dream. Chapter 2: Rise in the Rap Scene. Tupac Shakur began his music journey in the early 1990s. At first, he started as a backup dancer and rapper for a group called Digital Underground. This group was known for its fun and party-style songs. Tupac went on tour with them and learned a lot about music, performance, and the music business. This was the first big step in his rap career. In 1991, Tupac released his first solo album called 2Pac Now. The songs on this album were different from other rap music at the time. Tupac's lyrics talked about real-life problems like police violence, poverty, and racism. His voice was strong, and his words made people think. Many young people connected with his songs because they spoke about the truth. Tupac's music was not just entertainment. It was powerful and emotional. He used rap to share stories from the streets and give a voice to people who were not heard. His songs were sometimes sad, sometimes angry, but always honest. This made him stand out from other rappers. After his first album, Tupac became more and more popular. He released more music, and each album showed his growth as an artist. His second album, Strictly for My Niggaz, was a big success. It had popular songs like Keep Ya Head Up and I Get Around. These songs showed both his soft side and his fun side. Fans saw that Tupac had many sides to his personality. Tupac also became known for his powerful live performances. He had a strong stage presence. When he rapped on stage, people listened. He was full of energy, passion, and truth. Fans loved him for being real and bold. As his fame grew, Tupac started to appear in interviews, magazines, and even on TV. People started to talk about him not just as a rapper but as a leader and a poet. He spoke about problems in society and asked for change. Many young fans looked up to him. Tupac also started acting in movies. His first big role was in a film called Juice. He played a troubled young man and did a great job. His acting career helped him become even more famous. He proved that he was not just a rapper, he was a full artist. By the mid-1990s, Tupac was one of the biggest names in hip-hop. He had fans all over the world. His songs were on the radio, in clubs, and in people's hearts. He was not afraid to speak his mind. He used his music to open eyes and touch souls. This chapter shows how Tupac went from a backup dancer to a powerful voice in rap music. His rise in the rap scene was fast, strong, and unforgettable. He showed that with talent, truth, and hard work, anyone can rise. Chapter 3: Thug Life Philosophy. Tupac Shakur is famous for creating the idea of thug life. Many people did not understand what it really meant. For Tupac, thug life was not about being a criminal. It was a way of life for people who were poor and had to fight every day to survive. It was about being strong, proud, and real, even when life was hard. Tupac grew up in places where people had little money, no safety, and few chances to succeed. He saw how the system did not help these people. Many had to break rules just to eat or stay alive. Tupac said that these people were like soldiers. They were living in a war every day. That is what thug life was really about. not giving up, no matter how hard life is. Tupac even made a backronym for Thug Life. It stood for The Hate You Give Little Infants FS Everybody. Asterisk. This meant that when society gives hate to children when they are young, it creates problems for everyone later. If a child grows up with no love, no help, and only pain, they can become angry and broken. Tupac wanted people to understand this. He said that thug life was about respect. A real thug, in Tupac's eyes, was someone who stayed true to themselves, helped others, and spoke the truth. Tupac believed that people should not judge someone just because they live in the ghetto or dress a certain way. He wanted people to look deeper and understand the pain behind the face. Tupac also had the words, Thug Life, tattooed on his stomach. For him, it was a symbol of pride. He was not ashamed of where he came from. He was proud to stand for people who had no voice. His music and his words gave hope to millions who lived hard lives. Tupac often talked about this idea in his songs and interviews. In songs like Hail Mary, Me Against the World, and Changes, he spoke about struggle, faith, and survival. He mixed anger with love, pain with hope. This balance is what made his message powerful. Some people thought thug life was dangerous, but Tupac wanted peace. He didn't want people to fight each other. He wanted people to understand each other. He believed that knowledge was power. He told young people to read books, learn about history, and speak out. Tupac also wanted to help the community. He planned to start youth centers, help poor families, and stop the violence in the streets. He had big dreams for change. Sadly, he died too young to finish them. Thug life was Tupac's way of turning pain into power. It was about survival, pride, and truth. It was about fighting the system, not each other. Through his music and message, Tupac showed that even in darkness, there can be light. Chapter 4: Controversies and Legal Battles. Tupac Shakur was not only famous for his music. He was also often in the news because of many controversies and legal problems. These troubles were a big part of his life and made his story more complex. Some people loved him for his honesty. Others saw him as a troublemaker. But Tupac always stayed true to himself. In the early 1990s, Tupac began to face legal issues. One of the first problems happened in 1992. A young boy was killed in a shooting. The boy's mother said the person who did it was listening to Tupac's music. She blamed Tupac's lyrics. Tupac said he was not responsible. He believed that music does not cause violence, society does. This started a long debate about rap music and free speech. In the same year, Tupac was also involved in a fight with the police. He said the police were using too much force, and he wanted to protect his people. He was arrested, but later the case was dropped. Tupac believed that the justice system was unfair, especially to black people. He talked about this in many of his songs. One of the most serious legal problems came in 1993. Tupac was accused of a crime by a woman he met. She said that Tupac and others hurt her. Tupac said he was innocent. He said he did not do anything wrong. In 1994, he was found guilty of a lesser charge and sent to prison. He stayed in prison for about 8 months. During this time, he continued to write music and think deeply about life. In the same year, Tupac was shot 5 times in a recording studio in New York. He survived the shooting but believed it was a setup. He thought people he trusted were trying to hurt him. This made him angry and even more suspicious of others. It also started the East Coast-West Coast rap war, which caused more problems in the music world. Tupac also got into fights with other rappers. He said things in his songs that made people angry. Some fans loved the drama, but others were worried. They thought the fights might lead to more violence. Even with all the legal battles and controversies, Tupac stayed strong. He kept making music. He spoke about pain, truth, and the system. He said he was not perfect, but he wanted to make people think. Tupac's life was full of ups and downs. The legal problems and media stories made his life hard. But he never stopped being honest. He never stopped fighting for what he believed in. This chapter shows the hard side of Tupac's journey. It was not always music and fame. There were struggles, pain, and many battles. But through it all, Tupac stayed brave. He showed the world that even when life is unfair, you can still stand tall. Chapter 5: East Coast, West Coast Rivalry. In the 1990s, the hip-hop world was divided. There were two main groups of rappers, those from the East Coast of the United States and those from the West Coast. This became known as the East Coast, West Coast rivalry. Tupac Shakur was one of the most famous West Coast rappers. This rivalry became a big part of his life. The East Coast included cities like New York. The West Coast included cities like Los Angeles. At first, the competition between the two sides was just about music. Each side wanted to be the best. But soon, it became more serious. Rappers began to insult each other in songs. Fans also took sides. The media made the situation worse by writing many stories about the fight between the two coasts. Tupac's problems with the East Coast began after he was shot in New York in 1994. He was going to a music studio when two men attacked him. Tupac survived the shooting, but he believed that some people from the East Coast were behind it. He felt betrayed by people he once called friends. After the shooting, Tupac went to prison. While he was in prison, he thought about what happened. He felt angry and wanted answers. When he came out, he signed with Death Row Records, a famous West Coast label. This made the rivalry even stronger. Tupac started speaking out against East Coast rappers, especially the notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls. They had once been friends, but now they were enemies. Tupac believed Biggie knew about the shooting but didn't warn him. Biggie said he was not involved. But Tupac did not believe him. Tupac released songs that were full of anger. One of the most famous was Hit 'Em Up. In this song, he insulted Biggie and other East Coast rappers. It shocked the music world. Many fans were excited by the drama, but others were worried. The fight was no longer just about music. It was becoming dangerous. The rivalry affected many people. Rappers and fans on both sides were arguing. Some fights even turned violent. People forgot that hip-hop was supposed to be about expression and art. Tupac said he wanted peace, but he also felt he needed to defend himself. Even though the rivalry made Tupac more famous, it also brought more problems. He became a target. Many people said the fighting should stop. But the anger was too deep. In 1996, Tupac was shot again, this time in Las Vegas. He died 6 days later. Many people believe the East Coast-West Coast rivalry played a part in his death. Just months later, Biggie Smalls was also killed. These two losses shocked the world. This chapter shows how music, anger, and misunderstanding can turn into something dangerous. Tupac was a great artist, but the rivalry hurt him and the hip-hop world. His story teaches us the importance of peace, respect, and unity in art and in life. Chapter 6: Prison Time and Artistic Evolution. In 1995, Tupac Shakur went to prison. He was found guilty in a court case and sent to Clinton Correctional Facility in New York. He was 23 years old at the time. This was a hard period in his life, but it also helped him grow as a person and as an artist. Tupac spent about 8 months in prison. At first, he was angry, sad, and confused. He felt the system was unfair. He believed he was judged not just for the case, but for his image and the words in his songs. He said people did not understand him or his message. But while he was behind bars, Tupac had time to think deeply. During this quiet and lonely time, Tupac started to change. He began to read many books. He studied history, philosophy, and politics. He read about leaders like Nelson Mandela and Malcolm X. These books gave him new ideas. He started to see life in a bigger way. He thought more about the future, about helping people, and about making a real change. Even though he was in prison, Tupac continued to write songs and poems. His mind was full of powerful thoughts. He wanted to express his feelings and tell the world his truth. His writing became deeper and more meaningful. He was still strong, but also wiser and calmer. While he was in prison, Tupac's album Me Against the World was released. It became a huge success. In fact, it went to #1 on the music charts. Tupac became the first artist to have a #1 album while in prison. This showed how much people still loved and supported him. The album was different from his earlier music. It was full of emotion and pain. Songs like Dear Mama showed his love for his mother and the struggles of growing up. Other songs talked about loneliness, fear, and hope. Fans felt the realness in his words. They saw that Tupac was changing. In October 1995, Tupac was released from prison. A man named Suge Knight, the head of Death Row Records, helped pay his bail. After getting out, Tupac signed with Death Row and began a new chapter in his career. He started working hard on music again. He wanted to make the most of his second chance. Tupac came out of prison with new energy. He recorded many songs in a short time. He wanted to speak louder and reach more people. His music became more powerful, more focused, and more urgent. This chapter of Tupac's life shows how even dark times can lead to growth. Prison was painful, but it helped him become stronger inside. He learned more, felt more, and created more. He showed the world that art can grow even in the hardest places. Tupac's prison time was not the end, it was the beginning of a new voice with a deeper message. Chapter 7. Death Row Records Era. After getting out of prison in 1995, Tupac Shakur started a new part of his music career. He joined Death Row Records, one of the biggest and most powerful music labels at that time. The head of the label was Suge Knight, a strong and famous music producer. Suge Knight helped Tupac pay his bail, and in return, Tupac agreed to make music for Death Row. This new partnership gave Tupac the chance to work with some of the best producers and artists in the hip-hop world. He now had more money, more support, and more power. He quickly began to record many songs. He worked hard, often spending long hours in the studio. He wanted to share his message with the world. In 1996, Tupac released the album All Eyes on Me. This was his first album with Death Row Records, and it became a huge success. It was also his first double album, which means it had 2 CDs with many songs. The album had hit tracks like California Love, 2 of America's Most Wanted, and How Do You Want It? All Eyes on Me showed a new side of Tupac. He was still honest and emotional, but now he was more confident and powerful. He rapped about fame, love, struggle, and his enemies. His voice was strong, and his style was bold. He was no longer just a young artist. He was a superstar. At Death Row, Tupac also worked closely with other artists, like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Together, they made music that shaped the sound of West Coast hip-hop. Their songs were played on radios across America and around the world. Tupac became the face of Death Row Records and a leader in the rap world. But life at Death Row was not always easy. There was a lot of drama behind the scenes. Some people at the label were involved in crime and violence. There were also fights between East Coast and West Coast rappers. Tupac became deeply involved in this rivalry, and it made his life more dangerous. Even with all the problems, Tupac kept working. He wrote and recorded music almost every day. He had many new ideas and was planning to start his own music label. He also wanted to help young people and support the community. He dreamed of becoming more than just a rapper. He wanted to be a leader. During his time at Death Row, Tupac also filmed music videos and gave many interviews. He used every chance to speak about what he believed in. He said he wanted peace, respect, and freedom for all people. The Death Row era was the most powerful and busy time in Tupac's career. He created some of his best and most famous music. He became a legend. But this time was also full of danger and stress. It was the final chapter before his life came to a sudden and tragic end. Chapter 8. Final Days and Tragic Death. In 1996, Tupac Shakur was at the top of his career. He was making hit songs, music videos, and movies. His album All Eyes on Me was a big success. He had millions of fans all over the world. But behind the fame, Tupac's life was full of stress, danger, and fear. Tupac was deeply involved in the East Coast-West Coast rivalry. He had problems with other rappers, especially Biggie Smalls. He felt he had many enemies. He often spoke about death in his songs and interviews. He once said, "I might not live to see tomorrow." Many people were worried about him, but Tupac kept working hard and living fast. On September 7, 1996, Tupac went to Las Vegas with Suge Knight, the head of Death Row Records. They were going to watch a big boxing match. After the fight, Tupac and Suge were riding in a black car. Tupac was sitting in the front seat. That night, around 11:15 p.m., a white car stopped next to them at a red light. Suddenly, someone from the car opened fire. Tupac was shot multiple times. Suge Knight was also hurt, but not badly. The shooters quickly drove away. No one saw their faces. Tupac was rushed to the hospital. The doctors tried their best to save him. He had surgery and was kept alive by machines. For 6 days, fans waited and prayed. People around the world hoped he would survive. Sadly, on September 13, 1996, Tupac died from his injuries. He was only 25 years old. His death shocked the world. Fans cried, and people couldn't believe he was gone. He was young, talented, and full of life, but his journey ended too soon. After Tupac's death, many questions were asked. Who killed him? Why? Some people believed it was because of the East Coast-West Coast fight. Others thought it was something more personal. The case remains unsolved. To this day, no one knows for sure who killed Tupac. Even though Tupac died, his music did not stop. After his death, many new songs and albums were released. He had recorded so much music before he died that his voice continued to live on. Fans still listen to his songs and remember his message. Tupac's final days were full of work, passion, and danger. He wanted to change the world through his art. He was not afraid to speak the truth, even when it made others angry. He lived fast, and his life ended quickly. But his spirit and his words still inspire people today. This chapter tells the story of Tupac's last days. It is a story of sadness, mystery, and loss. But it is also a story of a man who gave everything for his music and message. Tupac may be gone, but he will never be forgotten. Chapter 9. Posthumous Legacy and Music Releases. After Tupac Shakur died in 1996, many people thought his music career had ended. But that was not true. Tupac had recorded many songs before his death. These songs were kept safe by his team and family. Over the years, these songs were released as new albums. This is called a posthumous release, which means music that comes out after a person has died. The first album released after Tupac's death was called The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory. It came out just 2 months after he passed away. Tupac used the name Machiavelli for this album. The songs were full of emotion, power, and deep thoughts. Many fans were surprised by how strong and honest the lyrics were. In the years that followed, more albums were released. Some of these include Are You Still Down? Remember Me, Until the End of Time, and Better Days. Each album had songs Tupac recorded before he died. The music talked about love, pain, hope, and life in the streets. These albums became very popular. Millions of people bought them, and Tupac stayed at the top of music charts. Tupac's voice continued to reach people around the world. Young fans who were not even born when he was alive discovered his music. His songs helped them understand life, struggle, and courage. Tupac became more than just a rapper, he became a legend. Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, worked hard to protect her son's legacy. She made sure his music was respected and shared in the right way. She also started the Tupac Amaru Shakur Foundation. This foundation helped young people with music, art, and education. It was Tupac's dream to give back to the community, and his mother helped make that dream come true. Tupac's posthumous influence was not just in music. He appeared in documentaries and movies. His poems and interviews were shared with fans. People studied his life in schools and colleges. Even other rappers and artists said Tupac was their inspiration. In 2017, Tupac was added to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is a great honor for any artist. It showed that Tupac's work had a big impact on the world. His message of truth, love, and strength still touched people many years after his death. Even today, Tupac's face is on posters, shirts, and murals. His voice is still played on radios and in concerts. His words are still quoted by fans and leaders. Tupac may be gone, but his legacy lives on. This chapter shows how Tupac's music never died. Through posthumous albums and his mother's love, Tupac continued to inspire millions. His life ended early, but his art will last forever. He proved that true voices never fade, they echo through time. Chapter 10: Cultural Influence and Enduring Impact. Tupac Shakur was not just a rapper. He was a voice for millions of people. His music, words, and actions had a big impact on the world. Even after his death, his influence is still strong. Tupac became more than a music star, he became a symbol of truth, strength, and change. Tupac used his music to speak about real problems. He talked about poverty, racism, violence, and life in poor neighborhoods. Many people felt that Tupac understood their pain. He made them feel seen and heard. His songs like Changes, Keep Your Head Up, and Dear Mama gave people hope and courage. These songs are still played today because their message is still powerful. Tupac's style also changed the world of hip-hop. He mixed deep thoughts with strong emotions. He showed that rap could be about more than money and fame. It could also be about truth, love, and justice. Many young artists were inspired by his honesty. They wanted to make music that had meaning, just like Tupac. Outside of music, Tupac also made a big impact. He was an actor and appeared in several films. His acting showed that rappers could also be serious performers. He opened doors for other artists to try acting and film work. Tupac also used his fame to speak about important issues. He talked about problems in schools, in prisons, and in the government. He wanted people to read more, think more, and speak out. He believed young people were the future. He wanted them to believe in themselves and create change. Even after his death, Tupac's name continues to be remembered. Artists, teachers, and leaders all talk about his work. His face is painted on walls in cities all over the world. His words are printed on shirts, posters, and books. He is often called one of the greatest rappers of all time. In 2017, Tupac was added to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of the biggest awards in music. This showed that his music touched people far beyond hip-hop. It proved that his voice was important to the world. Tupac also helped to change how people see rap music. Before him, many people did not respect rap. But Tupac showed that rap could be poetry, education, and power. He made people listen. He made people think. Today, many young rappers say Tupac is their hero. They follow his path and try to use their voices for good. His life reminds them that they can rise from hard times and still make a difference. This chapter shows that Tupac's story is not just about music. It is about love, truth, and never giving up. His cultural influence and enduring impact continue to inspire people across the world. Tupac may be gone, but his voice lives on in the hearts of millions. Vocabularies. 1. Legacy, something left behind by someone after they are gone, such as their work, ideas, or impact. Example: Tupac's music is part of his legacy. 2. Inspire, to make someone feel strong emotions or the desire to do something positive or creative. Example: Tupac's songs inspire many young people. 3. Rivalry, a competition or fight between people or groups trying to be better than the other. Example: the East Coast-West Coast rivalry was a big part of Tupac's life. 4. Struggle, a hard or challenging time, a fight to overcome problems. Example: Tupac often spoke about the struggle of growing up in a poor area. 5. Justice, fair treatment and respect for everyone's rights. Example: Tupac wanted justice for people who were treated unfairly. 6. Message, the idea or meaning that someone wants to share through words, music, or art. Example: Tupac's message was about truth and hope. 7. Fame, the condition of being well known by many people, often for talent or achievements. Example: Tupac's fame grew quickly after his first album. 8. Truth, the real facts or honesty about something. Example: Tupac always tried to tell the truth through his music. 9. Violence, actions that can hurt or harm people, often using force. Example: Tupac's music talked about stopping the violence in the streets. 10. Hope, a feeling that something good will happen in the future. Example: Tupac gave people hope through his words and songs. Quiz questions. 1. What was Tupac Shakur's birth name before it was changed? 2. What group did Tupac first perform with as a backup dancer and rapper? 3. What does the backronym Thug Life stand for according to Tupac? 4. In what year was Tupac shot 5 times in a recording studio? 5. What city was Tupac visiting when he was shot in a drive-by attack? 6. How many months did Tupac spend in prison? 7. What was the name of Tupac's first album under Death Row Records? 8. What album made Tupac the first artist to reach #1 on the charts while in prison? 9. What was the name of the foundation started by Tupac's mother after his death? 10. In what year was Tupac added to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed learning with us. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. Your support helps us grow and bring you more inspiring stories and easy English learning content. Do you have a topic you'd like us to cover in our next video? Maybe a famous person, an invention, or a country? Let us know in the comments or messages. We'd love to hear your ideas. You can find answers in the description. Thanks again, and keep learning with us. See you in the next video.